Voltex Castle, a name whispered in fear, a place shrouded in darkness. Its stone walls held a terrible secret. Years ago, a wickedness took root within its depth. It began subtly, a seed of envy and greed. The castle lord, Baron von Hessler, craved more power. He sought forbidden knowledge. He dabbled in dark arts. His actions awakened a dormant evil. A plague began to spread. It started slowly, a creeping illness. People grew weak. They became suspicious. Anger flared easily. Then the hatred began. It festered in their hearts, turning them against each other. The plague wasn't just a sickness of the body, it was a corruption of the soul. It poisoned everything it touched, turning love into bitterness and kindness into cruelty. The plague festered within the castle walls. It fed off the negativity, the fear, and the despair. It grew stronger with each passing day. Then, on the darkest night the land had ever seen, Voltex was born. Voltex was a creature of nightmare, a grotesque amalgamation of shadows and spite. Its eyes glowed with malevolent fire. It fed on the darkness in people's hearts, growing more powerful with every hateful thought. Voltex terrorized the countryside. It sowed chaos and discord wherever it went. People lived in fear, their hearts heavy with dread. The plague continued to spread, twisting their emotions, making them easy prey for Voltex's influence. The once vibrant villages surrounding Voltex Castle became ghost towns. People abandoned their homes, desperate to escape the reach of the creature and the plague. But there was nowhere to run. The darkness followed them. In a humble hut on the outskirts of the plagued lands lived a magician. Eldrick was his name. He was a man of simple means, but his heart was pure. He possessed a magic unlike any other, a magic fueled by compassion and love. Eldrick had long sensed the darkness emanating from Voltex Castle. He had chosen to stay away, to protect himself and his magic from its corrupting influence. But as the stories of suffering and despair reached his ears, he knew he could no longer remain idle. The plight of the people weighed heavily on his heart. He saw the fear in their eyes, the despair that threatened to consume them. Eldrick knew he had to act. He had to confront Voltex. It was a dangerous gamble, but he was the only hope. With a heavy heart but a determined spirit, Eldrick gathered his meager belongings, donned his magician's robes, and set out towards the menacing silhouette of Voltex Castle in the distance. He carried with him the hopes of a land teetering on the brink of annihilation. Eldrick, fueled by righteous fury and the love for his people, stood before the gates of Voltex Castle. He could feel the plague's oppressive presence, a suffocating blanket of despair. He braced himself, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and resolve. With a flick of his wrist, Eldrick cast a spell of protection around himself. The air crackled with energy. He knew Voltex would sense his presence. He knew their confrontation was inevitable. A blood-curdling shriek pierced the air. Voltex emerged from the depths of the castle, its eyes blazing with malevolent fury. The creature lunged at Eldrick, its claws outstretched, its form shifting and swirling like a living shadow. Eldrick stood firm. He raised his staff, channeling his magic, his love for his people, fueling his power. Beams of pure white light erupted from the staff, meeting Voltex's darkness head-on. The battle had begun. The battle raged, a blinding spectacle of light and darkness. Voltex, a creature fueled by hate and despair, found itself outmatched by the pureness of Eldrick's magic, a magic born of love and compassion. With each surge of light, Voltex shrieked in agony. It writhed and twisted, trying desperately to break free from the magical onslaught. But Eldrick held firm, his resolve unwavering, his heart filled with the hope he carried for his people. Finally, with a deafening roar that shook the very foundations of the castle, Voltex was vanquished. The darkness that had cloaked the land began to recede. The plague, robbed of its source, began to wane. Word of Eldrick's victory spread like wildfire. He was hailed as a hero, his name on the lips of every villager. The king himself, grateful for the salvation of his people, bestowed upon Eldrick the highest honor, the title of head magician of Voltex Castle. Eldrick, now residing in Voltex Castle, worked tirelessly. He used his magic to heal the sick and comfort the afflicted. He cleansed the castle of the remnants of darkness, banishing the shadows that lingered. He became a beacon of hope for the people. Years passed, the land slowly began to recover. However, the shadow of Voltex's reign still lingered in the hearts of the people. The memory of the plague, of the darkness that had consumed them, was a wound that refused to fully heal. Then, one day, Eldrick vanished. He disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only a cryptic note. It spoke of a final act, a lasting protection against the darkness that he had crafted within the depths of the castle. The people were distraught. Their savior, their beacon of hope, was gone. Yet they clung to the hope of his final act, the promise of lasting protection against the shadows that haunted their past. Deep within the bowels of Voltex Castle, in a chamber once used for the darkest of Baron von Hessler's rituals, stood Eldrick's final creation. It was a statue carved from the purest white marble, radiating a gentle, warm light. The statue depicted a young woman, her arms outstretched in a gesture of embrace. Her face, serene and compassionate, held a beauty that transcended the physical. It was a beauty that spoke of hope, of resilience, of the enduring power of love. This was Eldrick's final gift to the people, his masterpiece of magic and love. The statue pulsed with a life of its own, a beacon of protection against the lingering shadows of the plague. It was a constant reminder of the light that had vanquished the darkness, a symbol of hope for a brighter future. The statue became known as the Guardian of Voltex Castle. People from far and wide traveled to stand before it, to bask in its warmth, to draw strength from its unwavering light. While much of the land recovered under the watchful gaze of the Guardian, one village remained trapped in the grip of the plague's aftermath. Bakino, the village closest to Voltex Castle, bore the brunt of the creature's wrath. The darkness lingered in Bakino. The villagers, scarred by their experiences, struggled to shake off the fear, the anger, the hatred that the plague had sown in their hearts. They lived in the shadow of their past, haunted by the memory of Voltex's reign. Try as they might, the villagers of Bakino couldn't seem to escape the darkness that clung to them. It poisoned their relationships, fueled their anxieties, and kept them trapped in a cycle of despair. The legacy of Voltex and the plague proved difficult to overcome. Yet even in Bakino, hope flickered. The villagers had witnessed Eldrick's bravery, his selfless act of love. They knew of the Guardian in the heart of Voltex Castle. They drew strength from the knowledge that even in the darkest of times, light could prevail. Though the shadow of their past haunted them, the people of Bakino refused to give in to despair. They clung to the memory of Eldrick, his courage and his unwavering belief in the power of love. They drew strength from the knowledge that they were not alone. The Guardian, standing tall in the heart of Voltex Castle, served as a constant reminder that even in the darkest of times, light could prevail. It was a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The villagers of Bakino, though burdened by their past, continued to fight for a brighter future. They understood that the battle against darkness was never truly over, that it was a fight that each generation had to undertake. And they faced this fight with courage, knowing that somewhere in the heart of a once dark castle, a light continued to shine for them.